Happy New Year to all my amazing subscribers. Thank you for all the support, comments, and love you've shown me this year. You're the reason this channel keeps going, and I'm so grateful for every single one of you. Wishing you a new year filled with health, happiness, peace, and lots of good karma. May 2026 bring you strength, growth, and everything you've been working toward. Here's to more stories, more discussions, and more memorable moments together. I, 48 male, have helped my father keep his business afloat for years. I didn't mind. His support when I was young is the only reason I am where I am in life financially. I was able to graduate debt-free and start my own business straight out of university. My stepmother, on the other hand, was never my biggest fan. She thought I should have done more for her and her sons. I was already out of the house when my father married her, so I never felt like I owed her anything, much less her useless kids. Both of my stepbrothers ended up working for my dad's company, but they are useless. They spent most of their time servicing clients, taking clients to lunch and golfing with them, stuff like that. My dad needed help a few times, and rather than let him go under or go to the bank, I gave him loans at a very low interest rate. That way, if he couldn't pay me back, I could write them off as bad debt and get a tax deduction. I know now that he never mentioned the loans to her or her kids. And when I say kids, these are men in their 30s. My dad got sick 2 years ago, and my stepbrothers actually had to work. The company was pretty solid now, and they couldn't screw it up too badly. My dad and his accountant were still in day-to-day control. He just couldn't go into the office. 6 months ago, my father rewrote his will. He left everything to my stepmother and stepbrothers. I was left token sentimental gifts. I don't need the money, but I could smell the bull crap. So I sold my loans to a business competitor of my father, with the provision that I would personally make the payments until my dad passed away. So basically, they get the company when my dad died. I got my money back, so I was happy. When my dad passed, I got my stuff from his estate. Just photo albums and other things of that nature. My stepmother got the house and a retirement fund, and the three of them got the company. They came to me about the loans after they figured out how much my dad owed me. They wanted to keep the same deal. Basically 1% interest and really lax views on collecting payments. I told them that I had already divested myself of any involvement with my dad's company, and that they had to deal with a different creditor who would probably want to collect in full or renegotiate. They think I'm an a-hole for saddling them with debt instead of the solvent cash cow they thought they were getting. It's still a viable company, and they can go to a bank themselves and get a loan to pay it off. Then they have a company that has debt payments to make. Lots of good companies like that. Also, I think I exaggerated in the title. I didn't empty out the estate. My stepmother has enough money to last her until she dies, unless she spends it foolishly on herself and her sons. And my stepbrothers both have shared in a good company that has an excellent accountant. If they actually decide to work, it will support them and their families forever. Not the a-hole. OP didn't saddle them with debt. OP treated the business like a business. OP loaned money. Loans get repaid. The fact that OP's dad chose to hide that from his wife and her grown sons isn't on OP. OP protected himself before the will took effect, and frankly, that was smart. They inherited a functioning company, not a fairy tale. If they can't handle debt like adults in their 30s, that's their problem. And now let's hear community's opinion. So let me get this straight. You carried your father's company for years, got cut out of the will, and now you're supposed to gift wrap your money to your stepmother and 2 fully grown men who spent their careers golfing? Absolutely not. They wanted the rewards without the responsibility. You didn't rob them. You just stopped subsidizing people who never appreciated you. Soft everyone sucks here, only because this could have been messier emotionally than it needed to be. But honestly, from a legal and ethical standpoint, you're in the clear. Your dad made a choice to exclude you from his estate while benefiting from your financial support. You responded by making sure you weren't left holding the bag. The step family's outrage is just sticker shock from discovering adulthood has consequences. Not the a-hole. This is a textbook case of you inherited a business, not a lottery ticket. They assumed the company was a cash cow because someone else had been quietly feeding it for years. Now they actually have to run it like professionals. You didn't sabotage them. You gave them exactly what your father left them, ownership, responsibility, and reality. I, 28 male, will not argue that what I did wasn't childish or petty. It definitely was. But was I justified? Backstory. In high school, I had a girlfriend, Kelly, 28 female, and she was awesome, who I thought would be my forever girl until I caught her with my brother, Mike, 30 male, in the act. I was enraged, dumped Kelly, and emotionally disowned my brother. My parents were on my side and told Mike that he had to find somewhere else to live and maintain little contact with him after the fact. It wasn't until I finished college that my parents started welcoming Mike back in their lives, when he announced that Kelly was pregnant with their first grandchild. They said that they didn't want to deny an innocent child a relationship because of what their parents did, and even though I was hurt, a part of me understood. But I made it very clear that whenever Mike was around, I wouldn't be. My parents didn't like it, but accepted my position on the matter. Years later, I met my girlfriend, Tasha, 29 female, and she's really the sweetest and most adorable person ever. Although if you knew either of us separately, you'd wonder why we were together, romantically, at all. It's definitely an opposites attract type of situation, but I think we balance each other out pretty well. I'm an extrovert who can give her reassurance while she's an introvert who keeps me grounded. During this past year, I'd say that our relationship has gotten stronger. And I know my parents love her because she's helped me let go of my anger towards Mike, and I can tolerate him at family events. During my family and I, first in-person meeting, I asked my mom for her grandmother's ring and stated my intention to propose with it. My mom was excited and readily got the ring while my dad was offering congratulations. The only ones who didn't seem happy were Mike and Kelly. When my mom came back, Kelly stated that she should have the ring, since she and Mike have been engaged since their son was born. My mom said it was first come, first served, and that since Mike didn't ask for it and she already had a ring, she didn't need it. Kelly then tried to say that she didn't think I should propose because Tasha and I were so different, and that if it didn't work out, the family ring would be lost to a stranger. I got upset and told her to stop, but she kept going on and said that she only cared about the family and that if anything, it should go to the first female grandchild, and started making a list of reasons why I shouldn't marry Tasha. I left angry and drove home, but before I went into my house, I made a list of reasons why Tasha was better and more deserving of the family ring than Kelly, and sent it to Kelly via social media. Now Kelly is upset and has been crying, and her friends and family have started to berate me. Am I the a-hole? Edited to add. Just to be clear, I didn't publicly post the list on social media. I DM'd it to her and she started showing it to others. Edited to add 2. I've thought about it and have decided to not show the list because it would be too specific and people I know in real life might come across it. However, I will say that I listed 9 things that was wrong about Kelly. And yes, her sleeping with the brother of the guy she was dating was at the top. Edited to add 3. Since someone asked, no, Mike hasn't said anything to me about the list, and I'm not 100% sure where he stands on this because we don't really talk. Not the a-hole. Your cheating ex trying to tell you why your current relationship will not work is rich coming from her. Especially when it sounds like you and your current girlfriend mesh so well. And when you do the exact same thing to her, she gets pissed, which confirms her lack of self-awareness. Quite bluntly, she is an entitled a-hole. Godspeed, OP, and congrats on being engaged. Sometimes you gotta put your butt up on your shoulders and wear that a-hole hat with pride and honor. And this is such a situation, and technically speaking, she still isn't family, just engaged. Her opinion is crap in this or any other situation involving you and Tasha. Take care of each other and good luck. Sounds like Kelly is just upset because you were more than happy to jump in the mud and wallow with the pigs, which isn't what most such people expect. Not the a-hole. Your ex assumes she will always be a member of the family because she'll just hop to the next person. But the ring isn't given to the person who dates the most members of the family. Some quick background. My sister married young, 18, had her daughter and son young, 19 and 20 respectively, and died young, 26. My sister's husband wasn't able to cope and gave the kids to our parents to raise, and after a few months, it was decided I would become their legal guardian. The kids are happy, adjusted teenagers who have no contact with their father. My former brother-in-law has more kids. He has a son with a woman, G, who there is no contact with. She did reach out several times ago, but expected us to basically take responsibility for supporting her and her son when he wouldn't, and cut us off when we didn't. But there are no hard feelings since she was very young and on her own. About a year and a half ago, he reappeared and reached out to my parents and then to me about taking the kids back. I told him he didn't get to just reappear and take claim of the kids after almost a decade of nothing. He told me he was remarried and had more kids, so they would have parents and siblings to be with. I told him there needed to be effort given to let them get to know him. It was brought to court, and the kids stated they did not want to have a relationship with him. The judge ordered therapy, and when the therapist suggested they had a good outlook on everything, it was ruled the decision should be theirs. This was during lockdown. So Wednesday I was at home, and he shows up with his youngest child saying crap had hit the fan, and he needed me to watch the child for him. I told him no and asked him to leave. He tried to insist, but I told him he needed to leave and couldn't just drop off his child on my doorstep. A day later, he called to vent at me about it. He has my number from court. He told me it's wrong to turn someone away with their child, and that we used to be family once, and he's still the father of my niece and nephew. I told him I'm the person who raised his kids, and he should respect me and respect when I say no. I still don't know what was going on, which maybe I should have asked what happened when he showed up. I don't know. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole at all. You fed, clothed, and loved these kids as your own. You're doing so much for him. The entitlement that he thinks he is owed even more than you literally caring for his kids is insane. If anything, he should be indebted to you for caring for his kids for so long. Not the a-hole. You handled this in as correct a manner as you could. Your best bet is to shut down any other communication from him, and tell him firmly that his kids will be in touch on their 18th birthdays, if that is their wish. You already picked up the slack for him raising your nibblings. His audacity to ask anything further of you is disgusting. Not the a-hole. He used your number the day after you turned him away just to insult you, but couldn't use it before showing up to ask you to watch a young child you have no connection with. He's obviously still a loser. Whatever is going on with him has nothing to do with you. You owe him nothing. Don't let him drag you into whatever circus he's dealing with. I just purchased a condo and I'm having a party next week to celebrate. I don't really like my younger sister. We have never gotten along since we were kids, and I think she's nuts, but she's my sister, so I try to be civil and include her in things. She's married to a guy with 3 young kids, and she's taken it upon herself to act like she's their mother, even though they have a mother that's alive and in the picture. But it's her life, so whatever. Anyhow, I invited her because it was the nice thing to do. She asked if she could bring the kids because they don't trust babysitters and wouldn't be staying late, so I said sure. My brother's sons are going to be there, and I'm going to set up the guest bedroom so that they can go to sleep and my brother and his wife can have fun and not have to worry about driving them home. She then asked if there was going to be drinking, and I said yes, it's a party with a bunch of people in their late 20s and 30s. She then said, not asked, though it wouldn't have made a difference, that I'm going to need to serve ginger ales until they head out because she doesn't want her kids around drunk adults. She said it with a really nasty and dismissive tone, so that really pissed me off, so said, even if they were my nephews, the answer would be no, but if you expect me to ruin my night for the sake of children that I am not related to and barely know, then just don't come. She insulted me and reminded me of all the things that her husband has done for me. They lent me $1,000 at the beginning of the virus, which I paid back in full less than a month later, and he asked me for $150 interest and didn't stop bragging about his generosity for a year, and told me that my bad attitude is why I'm pushing 30 and don't have a relationship or family of my own. To which I replied to her that she doesn't have a family of her own either. She just stole another lady's family and hung up. Apparently, she's been posting on Facebook about how awful I am, and generally having a tantrum. My parents are telling me to just apologize to shut her up, but that's something I spent all of my teenage years doing, and I'm not doing that again at this stage of my life. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. $150 interest on a 1-month $1,000 loan? That's an annual interest rate of 180%. You'd have been better off putting those expenses on your credit card. Both your sister and brother-in-law seem to be the type of people to claim credit for things they don't actually do. Not the a-hole. Your home, your party, your drink menu. Honestly, those kids are going to need an aunt. I'm assuming you're a woman, who isn't nuts when they get older. Also, what kind of low-grade trash makes interest off short loans to family members? Not the a-hole. It's your condo and your party. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, your words might have been harsh, but she had no right to, Not even ask you, but basically demand you to not serve alcohol at your party until her and her stepkids leave. Like, dude, is it even a party then? Might as well bring out some biscuits and turn the kettle on at that point. If she has a problem, either leave the kids with their actual mother or just stay home. No one's forcing her to go to the party. Your sister and her husband sound like big a-holes. My ex and I always went to the same part of the country for a holiday a few times a year. So we decided to buy a small cottage in the area, to save us having to get a new place to stay every time. When we split, I got the cottage, and he got the flat we lived in the rest of the time. He still lives there, while I rent a separate place and only use the cottage for holidays with the kids. He is friends with my brother. My brother and I do not get on, and he's closer with my ex than he ever was with me. My brother apparently spoke to ex and asked if he could use the cottage. Ex said yes. Brother texted me saying that ex said he could use the cottage, and he asked me for the combo to the key safe. I responded that he hasn't asked me if he can use it, and he can't. He said the ex said he could use it. I said it's not ex's house. He said that he already arranged to get out of town for a bit on the provision that he could use the cottage, as he needs to lay low for a while. I said that was unfortunate, and he'd have to undo it or take a staycation. Brother says he set aside the time and resources to go, and my refusal is going to duck up his whole plan. I said that's unfortunate, but he didn't ask me. He then asked me if he could use the house, and I again said no. He asked why not. I said because it's my house, and I said no. He asked if I was using it, and I said no, but that doesn't mean he can. He said that I was being a selfish jerk for no reason, and that as I'm not currently using the cottage, it should be fine for him to stay for a bit. I said no again. I've now got him, all but one of our siblings. We are 2 of 5, and Dad agreeing that I'm an a-hole and that I need to let him use the cottage. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. If X is so happy to give away other people's homes, then your brother is free to stay in X's flat instead. Or better yet, send a bill in advance saying you'll need to be paid in full before you'll give the code. Brr. X gave permission for brother to use something that no longer belongs to X, and when it falls through, you get the blame. I don't think so. X was a douche for not letting brother know that the cottage isn't his anymore, and brother is also a douche for the way he tried to guilt you into letting him use the cottage. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. If the rest of the family thinks it's important for your brother to have a place to lay low, then they can rent him something. By the way, your brother sounds shady as hell from hints in your description. If that is so, never let him stay anywhere you have a deed on, or even borrow your car. Cities make a lot of money confiscating property or anyone involved or associated with any crime. He's not shady, just crappy. When he's avoiding someone, it's usually one of his exes, ex-wife, ex-girlfriend, ex-girlfriend's boyfriend, something like that. Frankly, he's not smart enough to know he should keep his head down after breaking the law. We don't have the kind of relationship where I'd lend him anything, so I'm not concerned about getting dragged into one of his little shenanigans. My female 26, younger half-sister, Erica, female 25, got married last week. I got invited, and even though I did not want to go, I put on my best dress and went. My sister's a product of my father's affair with a coworker. I was barely some months old when my dad left my mother for that woman, after he confessed to her that he got his mistress pregnant. As you can imagine, growing up with divorced parents was hard, but he made it harder. Every time I would go to his house, only on weekends, my mom had custody the rest of the week. He would treat me very crappy, like he wanted to show me how much he disliked me. His wife did the same. They never showed me love like he did with his other kids. I'm no contact with my dad now and low contact with my half-siblings. When Erica asked me to assist her wedding, I was unsure, but agreed at the end. The wedding was fine until my father got everyone's attention to make a speech. He then went on for about 10 minutes about how happy he was for Erica and such. But he kept referring to her as my only girl and stuff like that. I have 2 more half-brothers. Erica is the only girl with his new wife. I felt very bad with that, like I was 10 years old again sitting on his dining table, as he said that I shouldn't exist and that Erica was the princess. I got up and left without even saying goodbye. I texted Erica to tell her I was sorry when I got home. I know I'm making it about myself when this was my sister's moment, but I truly felt unappreciated. Erica got mad at me for leaving without at least letting her know. Wow. First, not the a-hole. Your father has decided that you are not his child. There's a lot of emotional baggage that you're carrying. You didn't need to sit there and continue to take the aggression from your father. And it was aggression, as he is your bio dad, but has decided that you don't exist to him. I'm so sorry that you went through that. No contact is best for Dad, and think through carefully any future engagements that could involve him. Not the a-hole. Erica should understand your reasons. In fact, she herself could have a word with your father if she cared enough to. Not the a-hole. Rant. I don't give a damn how good your dad was to your half-siblings. He was crappy to you, and they should give a damn. Erica isn't innocent or dumb. The princess heard the crap your dad said and didn't do anything. She planned for a speech from her daddy and listened to it. What the hell kind of warning could she need from you about you leaving? If she really cared, she would have kicked him out or hopped her butt up and left with you. OP, go no contact with them. You deserve better. You're still making excuses for your half-siblings being the way that they are. That's a problem. You need to realize that your half-siblings enjoy seeing you beneath them. Otherwise, they'd stand up for you. Erica wants to believe that she was extra special, being the reason for your dad mistreating you and treating her better. That is what people do when they don't want to admit that they don't deserve the privileges they get. Then they pretend that your mistreatment wasn't so bad. Yet they know good and damn well that they wouldn't want the same mistreatment that you got.